Are you a Muslim brother who's been taught that your wants and desires are the problem, that your nafs need to be subdued, and that wanting things is the source of your addiction struggle? Have you tried to stop an addictive behavior by convincing yourself you shouldn't want it and had the wanting come back louder every time? And have you ever wondered that you might not actually know what you want because the feeling of the real want never gets a chance to surface? By the end of this video, you're going to understand why none of your wants are actually bad, what your desires are pointing to underneath the surface, and what happens when you let yourself feel a want all the way through. May Allah reward you for being curious. Let's tie our camel. I spent 30 years in some form of an addictive cycle. Substances before reverting to Islam, behavioral patterns after. For most of that time, my entire strategy was to fight what I was feeling. Suppress it, make tawbah, and try harder. And after decades of trial and error, studying and speaking with other brothers and their experiences, I found something that changed my approach entirely. Here's the first thing to understand. None of your wants are bad. Every unhealthy want is a strategy to get something wholesome that you don't think you deserve. The desire itself is pointing to something real. The strategy, the addictive behavior, is what's causing the problem. Here's what I mean. Pick something you want, something on the surface, maybe money, status, approval from a specific person. Now ask what's underneath that. Usually the want for money is really a want for security. The want for status is usually wanting to feel like you matter. Go one more level in. The security want is usually just wanting to feel solid in yourself. The wanting to matter is usually wanting to trust yourself. Notice where you feel that in your body as I say that. At the bottom of it, every want points to somewhere real, somewhere the fitra was designed to go. And this is where the addiction cuts in. Instead of sitting with the want and going through those layers, the addictive behavior gives you a quick hit of relief. The wanting gets numbed, but not resolved. And you never find what you actually needed. You stay stuck at the surface, chasing the money or the status while getting hits of relief along the way. And the real thing, the empowerment, the connection, and the trust, never gets addressed. That's why the addictive behavior keeps coming back. It's solving the wrong problem. The actual want is still there, but unmet. Second, and here's the piece I think most brothers miss. Wanting is vulnerable. Owning what you actually want is one of the most exposed things you can do. It means risking disappointment. It means admitting clearly that you need something you don't have. And it means the want could be seen, not met or judged. And this is why the pull toward addictive behaviors is so strong. When a want surfaces and feels too raw to hold, the addictive behavior is right there to bring relief. It takes the edge off without requiring you to actually look at what you want. No vulnerability required, no risk of rejection. You go straight to the instant relief. But the real want doesn't disappear. It just goes back underground, and it drives the addictive behavior from there, with more force each time you avoid it. I noticed this in my own cycle. I'd have a stretch of doing well, staying away from an addictive behavior or substance, and then the pull would come back harder, what you would call binging. And what I eventually understood is that the want was building. Every time I used the addictive behavior to avoid sitting with what I actually needed, the pressure increased. The addictive behavior wasn't resolving anything real, and so the real want kept accumulating underneath. And when the pressure finally broke, it broke through like a punch in the face. I remember recognizing at some point that most of my surface wants were really just the want to feel like I was enough. And every time that want surfaced, it felt like too much and was too uncomfortable to sit with. So I'd go for whatever was available instead. A cigarette, a drink, or looking at something I shouldn't have. Brothers, this is the level of work we go into in our free community for Muslim men. A space where you don't have to explain yourself, no unsolicited advice or judgment. The link's in the description. And then the third thing, wanting is a feeling. Like anger or sadness, it lives somewhere in your body. It has texture, and just like any other emotion, you can allow it to be there without being driven by it. There's a real difference between a clean want and a craving or urge. Craving is what happens when you attach the wanting to an object and try to make the feeling stop. You want the sensation to end, so you reach for the thing. The thing never actually resolves it, so the craving comes back stronger every time. A clean want is different. When you allow a want to be in your body fully, without attaching it to a specific outcome, without trying to make it stop, it becomes something expansive. It feels like longing. And if you go deep enough into that feeling without any object attached to it, it gets close to love. For us as Muslim brothers, I've felt that unattached longing in Salah, creating a space where there's nothing left except the wanting itself. And that feeling, where there's nothing attached to it, that's what the fitrah was made for. Every time you reach for the addictive behavior, instead of sitting with that feeling, you swap out something that could be real for something that leaves you more hollow than before. So here's the practice. Close your eyes and think of something you want right now. It doesn't have to be deep. It could be a craving, a financial goal, something you've been chasing. Let the feeling of wanting it rise up in your body. Where do you feel it? What does it actually feel like? Now take away the object, remove the goal, but keep the feeling. This is the feeling addiction is trained to interrupt, the feeling your nervous system has learned to escape from. And you may not get it the first time. The craving for the addictive behavior will try to interrupt it for a while, but keep at it consistently each day, and you'll slowly reprogram your nervous system and brain to allow the real want to shine. Because the real want underneath every surface want is what your fitrah wants and has been reaching toward the whole time. So the next time the urge comes, before you act on it or struggle through it, ask what you actually want, not what the addictive behavior gives you, what you actually want, and sit with that for 30 seconds. That's where the real work starts. If you have any questions or want to dive deeper, hit the link in the description and join our free community. I'll see you there, inshallah. As-salamu alaykum.